Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the first video of 2022. For the past few days, you've been getting a ton of lists from me, but this is the last one, I promise, for now. Nevertheless, we counted the best, we counted the worst, so today we're looking ahead into the future and count my top 10 most anticipated movies for 2022. Before I properly get started today, don't forget to let me know your most anticipated films down in the comments below. Start the conversation because it's always the most important part. And if you like movies and TV, I want to see more like this, make sure you click that subscribe button because if you like movies and TV, this is the place to be. Also, this list is not to predict which movies are going to be the best. These are just the ones that going into them, I find myself most excited for them. And there are a ton of movies that I'm sure I missed. There are a ton of movies that we don't even have the notion they are coming out this year that I'm sure are going to be great, but these are just the ones that, given the trailers, given the synopsis, the premises, are the ones that I'm most excited for. And of course, we have a ton of honorable mentions. So without further ado, these are the movies that I'm really excited for, just not the top 10. Of course, we got a ton of superhero movies coming this year, and while you'll see some on my list on the top 10, these are just others that, despite being very excited for it, just couldn't make that top 10. Of course, we got Black Adam and Aquaman 2 and Thor: Love and Thunder. We got animated movies. Again, you'll see some on my list. But I'm also very excited for Turning Red and Disney's Strange World. The latter, we didn't have a trailer yet for it, so that's why it doesn't quite make the list. And then we got a ton of auteur filmmaker films, including Olivia Wilde's Don't Worry Darling, the Elvis biopic from Baz Luhrmann, and Steven Spielberg's semi-autobiographical film, The Fabelmans. Also, we got an action film with Sylvester Stallone playing a former superhero, so I definitely want to see that, especially because it's from Julius Avery, who a few years ago gave us the very, very good Overlord. A few other films I'm excited for is Jordan Peele's Nope, the new Downton Abbey A New Era film, Bullet Train starring Brad Pitt from Chad Stahelski, and of course, one cannot forget Robert Zemeckis' Pinocchio and the erotic thriller starring Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas. You'll see her on this list as well. Deep Water, which is now going to Hulu. So those are my honorable mentions. Without any further ado, let's start the countdown. Starting us off is Knives Out 2, the second in the Benoit Blanc anthology of movies that is obviously directed by Rian Johnson, a director I love the first Knives Out. I love every single movie that this man has done. The only reason why really it isn't higher on this list is because we don't have a trailer yet. The cast is star-studded, not to mention probably more people that we don't know there are in this film. The location is very exotic and extremely different from the first. I cannot wait to see these characters' dynamics and the dialogue that Johnson has prepared for them. Again, I adore that first film, so this one, so far at least, has not shown me any reason not to be excited. The team behind the camera is back, and the new team in front of the camera is just fantastic, with so many different talents, including Catherine Hahn, Dave Bautista, Leslie Odom Jr., Ethan Hawke, Janelle Monáe. Come on, man. There's no reason not to be excited for this one. Hopefully, it still gets a theatrical release. It's not just put on Netflix. But for Netflix to have spent that much money on it, it's because Johnson has a really good idea. The Gray Man, starring Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, there she is again, and probably my favorite working actor today in Ryan Gosling. Just to see these two go head to head against one another in Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling, I'm excited for that. But you got, again, Ana de Armas, you got Jessica Hennick, you got a spy thriller directed by the two people who directed my personal favorite movie of all time. I know that's immensely unpopular opinion, and no, my favorite movie of all time is not Cherry. Again, the only reason this film is probably not higher, despite the premise, the cast, the direction, and it's just a very exciting idea, the only reason this film is not higher is because we still don't have a trailer. And again, it's a Netflix movie. Those more often than not are very disappointed. And despite not having enjoyed Cherry that much, I'm still very trustworthy of what they got prepared in this film with this star-studded cast and a more gritty spy thriller that I miss. We just had No Time to Die. Now I need the next big thing. And I think The Gray Man could be the next big thing. Number 8, Mission Impossible 7. And again, there's no trailer for this film yet, so that's why not only am I showing right now Mission Impossible Fallout clips, but also another reason why this film is not higher. But Mission Impossible is one of the best franchises going today, where it seems like they don't miss a step from movie to movie. The little snippets we've seen of what Tom Cruise has prepared for us in this film in terms of the stunts that he's gonna pull off look incredible. We got Haley Atwell in this film, and if you know me, you know I love me some Haley Atwell. We got Nicholas Hoult, I believe he's in this film as well, and then we got returning cast members from the original film. It feels like this one, along with Mission Impossible 8, are going to be back-to-back the grand finales of this franchise. And again, coming just off of Fallout from a few years ago, which was one of the best films that year had to offer. I think it was like my number 3 or 2 in 2018. This one has me super, super excited. Again, it's only at number 8 because we don't have a trailer. Otherwise, I'm probably going to bet you that if we had a killer trailer for this film, and that's how good the trailer is probably going to be, this would probably be 4 or 5 on my list. At number 7, Top Gun Maverick, another Tom Cruise movie, one we did have a trailer for. We actually have 2 or 3 trailers at this point, and this film, for the 3rd year in a row, is making it to my top 10 most anticipated movies of the year. This is a film that every time I see a trailer, I just know I have to experience it in the biggest screen possible with the best sound system possible, because the things they did to make this movie possible, the fact that Tom Cruise learned to pilot one of these jets in real life to get the real footage, that's one of just of the many reasons why I admire the man every time he comes in to a new film. And the trailers just look great. And I love the original Top Gun, and I love the approach that they're taking to this story. Also, I find Joseph Kosinski to be an immensely underrated director. Again, between this and Mission Impossible, I think the Mission Impossible movies, some of them at least, are overall better than Top Gun, and I would bet that maybe Mission Impossible 7 will maybe be better than Top Gun Maverick, but Top Gun Maverick has teased me. They have lured me into the hype with their magnificent trailers. Maybe the movie sucks, but I can only go from the trailers and from the people I know are involved, and I could not be more excited for this film. Every year I get excited for new movies, but this one, despite all the delays due to the pandemic, this one has endured and endured and endured. And it's always around here. It's always around the middle of my list. It's never really my number 1. It's never really my last one on the list. But I'm excited for every single one of these movies. So the fact that Maverick keeps consistently showing up on these tells you how excited I really am to see those jets roaring across the screen as they fly very high. Lightyear just sits out of the top 5. This is a film that I fell in love with the idea when Pete Docter presented it at the Disney Plus Day at the end of 2020. So long ago, man. And then that magnificent trailer came out with the jaw-dropping animation, the incredibly insane use of lighting. And again, we got Chris Evans on this list, voicing the real-life guy of one of the best Pixar characters ever. Perhaps my favorite when it comes to Toy Story. This is one, again, could not be more excited for this. I'm just a little bit more excited for 5 other films. Pixar just doesn't miss a step, except for Cars. For a while, they have not missed a step. And this is only one of 2 movies they're putting out next year. And this is just the one I'm most excited for because it's a space adventure. It's a little bit of sci-fi. It feels a little bit like First Man is gonna meet a little bit of Star Wars. The villain is actually probably gonna be the real-life Zurg. And I just can't wait to see what ideas they bring out to this one because of what inspired the Buzz Lightyear that we know from the Toy Story films. Now, if this film is successful, I need a serialized revival of Buzz Lightyear in Star Command, or at least add the original show to Disney Plus, because it's nowhere to be found. I need it. Number 5, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. Like many of you, I adore the first Spider-Verse movie, that Into the Spider-Verse, and now it just seems like they're going all out. There are no limits for what they can and what they want to do. And actually, one of the reasons I'm even more excited for this film now that we gotten that first look is that we know it's a part 1. So we probably should expect a big cliffhanger, but I think they're smart enough that they're going to tell their own story in this one and just leave it open for what's next. Also, one of my favorite Spider-Man in Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, is going to be a pivotal part of this film. We got Miles, we got Gwen, and we got Miguel now, and I think things are just going to be insane. I fully expect at least 1 minute of all these Spider-Men to pop up into a world where it's live action. I don't know if it's going to be Andrew's or Tobey's or Tom Holland's world, but for a quick second, we're going to see them in live action. So I cannot wait to see the things they create in this film. Every world feels like it's going to be a brand new approach to the animation, and I think that's incredibly exciting. The directors involved in this are incredibly excited, with Joaquin Dos Santos, who is a sensational director and a sensational artist who has actually written Spider-Man comics before. Just everything going for this film makes me more and more and more excited. Number 4 is Babylon, a film that breaks the mold on everything that I've been saying up until now when it comes to why movies are not higher than list. We don't have a trailer. We merely have a cast, which includes Margot Robbie, so that brings it up a couple of spots for me. It includes Brad Pitt, and includes Tobey Maguire. I wonder where he's been all these years. Have you guys seen Tobey Maguire in anything big lately, like a box office saving movie or something? I don't know, man. The guy's just disappeared, so I'm happy to see him back at the helm. Damien Chazelle, one of my favorite directors working today. The man has made one of my favorite movies of all time, and he did my 2018 favorite movie of the year. So I cannot wait to see what he has to offer in this one. It's old era Hollywood in the 20s, which I always love these period pieces. I love movies about movies, and so does Hollywood. Hollywood loves movies about itself, and I love it too. And everyone involved with this has me terrifically excited. My favorite actress working today, one of my favorite directors working today, and they're working together. It's beautiful. It gives me an immense dose of serotonin. Cannot wait for this. But before I give you those 3, don't forget to let me know which movies are you most excited for this year. Anything and everything down there in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to click the subscribe button and make sure you check all the other lists that I just put up at the end of last year. It was so long ago. Nevertheless, let's continue with the top 3 most anticipated movies on my list. The Northman comes in at number 3. This one just had a trailer release for it, and I couldn't have been more pumped when I watched this. I was already going into this one excited because I love the premise and I love Robert Eggers' work. He has directed my favorite horror movie of the past 20 years, in The Witch, 22 years at this point. And he also has directed a fantastic film that I understand is not for everyone, but The Lighthouse is sensational. And now he's giving us his own version of Hamlet, or if you want to say The Lion King, but it's Vikings, and it's violent, and it's brutal, and it's going to have all his weirdness and quirkiness that Robert Eggers always offers. He's one of the most unique voices working in horror today, and I love, at least judging from the trailer, how it seems he's mixing in his horror sensibilities with a little bit more action. This is going to be an incredibly violent film that I cannot wait to see. If anything, maybe the trailer shows too much, but even at first minute, once you understand the story is basically Hamlet, but Vikings, give me all of that immediately. I'm gonna have a big bowl of popcorn, and I'm gonna feast my eyes on the visual sensation that is going to be the Northman. It's going to be something to wonder at for all the senses. Not just sight. You're going to feel this movie. You're going to feel the brutality and the dirtiness. I cannot wait for the Northman. It's exactly my kind of shit. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is our runner-up, and honestly, this film would have been quite a few places down if not for the trailer that was just released publicly, but also released with Spider-Man No Way Home. I love the original Doctor Strange, and this trailer just gives me all the horror, weird vibes that I expect to see in a Doctor Strange films. The film just seems to be taking insanity to another level, and from the things I have heard about this film, it's going to be nuts. They're holding nothing back. The horror vibes are clear from this trailer right at the beginning as we see that building crashing into a reality. We see the Sanctum Sanctorum completely flooded, and we got a tease about the villain who seems to be another Doctor Strange, and I just love it. As someone who has read these comics since I was a kid, seeing these things come to life, the colors, the cinematography, the sets, the costumes, everything just screams weird and odd and absolutely not for the general audiences, which is what I love about Doctor Strange, that it still will end up be appealing to those general audiences that have fallen in love with the MCU, much like me. But now they get to feast themselves on the weirdness and kookiness of Doctor Strange. This film, I get more and more excited for it every time I hear or learn something new about it, and this trailer did exactly that. The inclusion of Scarlet Witch also is exciting as it connects back to WandaVision. If you were not a big fan of the first Doctor Strange, I completely understand not being as excited for this one as I am, but again, I love all the weird kooky shit that first film teased that this franchise could give us, and now it seems like they're throwing it all out, no holds barred, onto the screen, and I will eat it up. The Batman comes in at number 1, directed by Matt Reeves, a new launching pad for the Caped Crusader, my favorite superhero of all time. And despite me having only seen the first trailer, I am not watching anything else that they throw out. The reactions from everyone else just make me terrifically excited for this. Again, it's my favorite superhero of all time. Matt Reeves has not disappointed me in anything he has directed. I mean, the man has made my favorite found footage movie of all time in Cloverfield. I don't like found footage as a genre, so the fact that he made something that I like, that I think is actually good, tells you something. This just looks absolutely brutal. It looks like the most unique Gotham City captured in film, where it's an actual character, and it's those first years of the Batman, him learning to deal with this side of the character, him being obviously Bruce Wayne, and Robert Pattinson, who is one of the best actors working today, carrying this role, just looks like perfect casting. I also love how we're creating this origin story for the Batman, as well as creating an origin story for Gotham City as we know and love it. The thing that I love about this film that actually distinguishes it from any other Batman films, and I love many of the other Batman films, is that it seems like this film is treating Batman as the monster. We have these villains, yes, but the Batman is their boogeyman. The Batman is the one they look under the bed to see if he's there, and it's just treating Batman as this brutal, ruthless vigilante that has to learn to control himself, to actually be the symbol that Gotham needs, and not just someone else that they look at as a monster. But when you have someone like this, and even the villains, the crime lords of Gotham, look at as a monster, I just think the storytelling potential of that is incredible. And those are my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2022, along with some honorable mentions. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my channel members Bruna and Stuart. If you like movies and TV, consider joining them and becoming a member. There's different perks, there's different tiers, so if that is for you, do support the channel on that level, or just consider clicking that subscribe button if you like movies and TV. Don't forget to let me know your most anticipated movies of the year, and stay tuned for many more videos to come throughout this week. Thank you again to my members, thank you for watching, and until the next one, love each other and love the movies.